Brilliance Audio.
Starfather by Charlie N. Holmberg, performed by Karen Chilton. Daylight winked out at noon. Cloudless thunder ripped across the sky as though I stood in the middle of a collapsing building. It rattled in my ears and zipped across my skin, raising gooseflesh in its wake. The animals in the barn erupted into a frenzy, bucking and bleating and crying out sounds I'd never heard in all my 34 years. Vine's hoof whipped by my jaw, close enough that I could feel the air compress around it. The cacophony was almost as violent as the thunder itself. And then everything went dark, as if the world were lit by one candle, and it had been snuffed. No gradual setting of the sun, no closing of lids, only darkness. If the utter black that consumed the barn and the farm outside of it weren't terrifying enough, the animals hushed just as swiftly. So silent, I would not have known they were there if I couldn't smell them. I had dropped the shoeing nails balanced on my lap, but didn't stoop to pick them up. I was lucky Vine's half-shod back hoof had missed me in the commotion. I backed away, stepping on my skirt, fingers grazing across packed soil and scattered bits of hay. For a minute, the shifting of my body was the only sound in the barn. My crawling and my breathing, which grew heavier the longer the darkness held. By the gods, what has happened? I found my feet and felt my way to the door. I'd been on my grandmother's farm long enough to know my way about, but my limbs trembled with every step, regardless of my attempts to soothe them. The barn door groaned as I pushed it open. Soft, weak light poured over the fields of corn, hay, and oats. Relief stirred in my chest at the sight of the stars, and I realized that in a wash of fear, I'd expected the sky to be as dark as the barn ceiling. So many stars pocked the night sky, more here than in the city. But that relief was quickly squashed when I recalled the time. noon. Stepping away from the barn, I scanned the sky. No sun, no moon, only stars and a smattering of distant clouds. Even scripture had never depicted such a thing. No matter how long I stared, I couldn't wrap my thoughts around it. "I," my mother's voice called from the house. "I." "Here," I called back, hugging my arms around myself, needing something sturdy as I hurried toward her. I took care with my step. The last thing I needed right now was a twisted ankle. "I'm fine. Kata?" "She's fine." My mother, Inira, bustled out from the house, her light linen clothes making her easier to find in the dark. The shuffling of her skirt and legs seemed so loud in the night, which gave me pause. Turning, I strained for other sounds. No crickets, no birds. My mother, my grandmother, and I lived a good way from the closest village and far from the capital. I was used to the quiet. Yet there was something distinctly wrong with this quiet, something that shivered in my bones and made my fingertips itch, almost like when I had an excellent idea for a painting but couldn't get away from my chores to execute it. Except, instead of frustrated anticipation, dread curled in my middle like a tired cat. My mother closed the gap between us and grabbed my shoulders. "Did you see?" I shook my head. "I was shoeing Vine." The grip tightened. "Are you hurt?" Trying to smile, I put my hands over hers. My mother was a worrier, even when the cosmos behaved itself. "Missed me by a hair." My mother released me. She was shaking badly, and I picked up her hand to offer comfort. "They heard it to Helchinar, I'm sure." She swallowed. "The gods are angry with us." "The gods are angry with each other," I whispered, glancing at the sky. There had been rumblings of late, stories from far away about strange storms and flashes of light, evidence of another war in the heavens. It was hard to know what was speculation and what wasn't. It had been hard to pay it much heed when our own country was in the midst of a human war. Both had seemed very far away until now.